Hi there, it's Heather. So today I'm making a sun catcher. It was my daughter's 18th birthday recently and she loves crystals, so I thought it might be nice to make something with some crystals for her. So I got these packs from Amazon. The hoops, they're metal hoops, were $8.99 and the wire and crystal chips were $11.99. I also used some tools, so flat nose pliers, round nose pliers and some snips, and also I did use up some of the wire with my own beads that I had as well. So it's quite a reasonably priced project and it went really well, so I thought you might like to see the process. So I started by getting the hoops together and decided that I wanted to use all the different shapes, so I'd got quite a few left over, so I used the different shapes but in different sizes. Then I cut myself some of the wire. It's really quite thin wire, and I started to wrap it around the largest hoop, the circular hoop, and that was for me the sun. So I decided to use lots of the orange and red crystals on this, so some carnelian, citrine I think I used as well. So I added some of the chips to the wire that I'd already anchored onto the first large hoop, and then I took that and just wrapped it around the hoop itself so that the crystal beads were sort of wrapping around the hoop, which is really easy. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's a really easy process. So once the wire itself is actually anchored, sort of twisted around the hoop itself, I squished it in place with one of the flat nose pliers and then just added the beads in little segments. Then each time I'd added a segment, I just wrap the wire around again and then started to add more beads. So you can see that I've got sort of a few little sections of beads there. Then I moved on to the moon and I decided to change the colours up for that. So I cut myself some more wire and anchored that on, and then used the blue and the purple, which I think was amethyst, and I'm not sure whether it was lapis lazuli or a different bead, but it was sort of a dark blue and that looked really pretty. So I added those onto the moon, and what I did was anchor the wire at the top, and then I added some chips and then moved it from one side to the other side. So each time I moved the wire with some chips onto the other side and then just wound it around and then added more chips, pulled it to the back and wound it round, then added more chips, pulled it to the front, wound it round, and kept going basically until I filled the whole thing. You can see here that I've sort of got about halfway. I wanted to move on to the next bit, but I did actually completely fill the moon with those different chips, and it looks really pretty. So what I was going to do was just add it there onto the inside of the sun and use some of the wire to anchor it in place. So next onto the heart, and I made myself a little loop at the top of the heart just with the wire, and then I used the green chips for the heart because I understand that they align with the heart chakra. Then I went on to the star. I did the same thing, added a little loop so it would be easier to attach to the other frames, and I just added some of the clear quartz I think, and this is a finished project. Doesn't it look absolutely gorgeous? So it was a very reasonable project, and I still have loads of the chips left, so how pretty is that all together? I also had chance to use up some of the other items. You can see I've got some more wire left, just a little bit, so I thought, well, I may as well use that up on a different project, and I've got loads of the chips left, and I didn't actually use any of my own beads on the actual project itself, and I've got so many chips left I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with them. So because I've got so many of the wire hoops left, I decided to go ahead and just make myself a couple of little hanging ornaments, which are now hanging in my dining room because I've got so many of them left. I just used a couple of the small ones and really just wound some wire and some beads around the outside of each of the shapes, and then use the string from the beads to hang them up. And there's some turquoise beads, and that is lapis lazuli, and they look absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so pleased with the finished project. My daughter's already had her birthday and I gave it to her and she was really pleased with it. So thanks ever so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed seeing the project. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.